Until you take full ownership of your life, you will always remain trapped in a cycle of waiting. Waiting for things to change, waiting for someone to believe in you, waiting for the right opportunity. But life doesn't reward the one who waits. It rewards the one who moves, the one who acts, the one who takes full responsibility. That's what personal responsibility really is. It's the moment you stop blaming your parents, your boss, the economy, your education, or your environment. It's the moment you declare, I am responsible for the direction of my life, and you start operating from that truth. Most people spend years in mental bondage because they don't understand that responsibility is the key to power. They believe that responsibility is a weight, a burden, but in reality, it is the foundation of freedom. When you take responsibility, you no longer have to wait for someone to fix it. You fix it. You no longer rely on others to see your potential. You validate yourself by your actions. You stop seeking external permission and start building internal conviction. That shift is where transformation begins. You see, too many people have been conditioned to expect rescue. From childhood, we've been trained to look outside of ourselves for solutions. If something goes wrong, we expect someone else to step in. But when you live that way, you give your power away. And the longer you do that, the weaker your ability to lead yourself becomes. Life was never meant to be lived as a waiting game. It's meant to be lived with intention, but intention requires ownership. And ownership requires the courage to say, I am the author of this story. What does it mean to be the author of your story? It means you pick up the pen, regardless of your past, and you begin to write a new chapter. You stop rehearsing your pain and start developing your purpose. You stop telling people what happened to you and start showing them what you're becoming. You move from victim to visionary. And when that happens, everything in your environment begins to shift to match your new mindset. But understand this. Personal responsibility is not a one-time decision. It's a daily discipline. It's waking up every day and choosing to be accountable for your actions, your thoughts, your energy, and your results. It's saying, if I'm not where I want to be, it's not someone else's fault. It's my opportunity to grow. And that's where most people miss it. They want the reward without the responsibility. They want the glory without the grind. They want change without challenge. Success is not reserved for the smartest or the most talented. It's reserved for those who are willing to own their outcomes. You could have been born into struggle. You could be facing obstacles that others can't even see, but none of that disqualifies you unless you let it. You can't control where you started, but you can absolutely control where you're going. And that shift starts with the decision to stop outsourcing your life. Stop outsourcing your discipline to your circumstances. And believe me, I've seen it. You're not enough for anybody to stop you. You're only one that can stop you. You're not enough for anybody to stop you. You're only one that can stop you. Stop outsourcing your motivation to your mood. Stop outsourcing your success to someone else's approval. The most dangerous thing you can do is wait for someone to give you permission to be great. No one's coming to give it to you. And that's not something to fear, it's something to celebrate. Because it means you already have everything you need to begin. When you take full ownership, you stop looking for shortcuts and start building systems. You stop looking for validation and start developing skill. You stop trying to impress people and start investing in purpose. You develop resilience because your identity is no longer tied to what happens to you. It's anchored in who you choose to be. And that's what separates leaders from followers. Not titles, not money, but mindset. Leadership is not about having control over others. It's about mastering yourself. And the first step of that mastery is owning your results. Good or bad, you either created them or allowed them. Either way, they're yours. And if they're yours, you can change them. That's not pressure. That's power. When you embrace this mindset, you start moving with clarity and confidence. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop drifting and start designing your destiny. This is what Myron Golden teaches when he talks about spiritual and financial wealth, that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. If your inner world is full of excuses, blame, and procrastination, your outer world will show it. But if your inner world is full of discipline, purpose, and responsibility, your outer world will respond in kind. Because success is an echo. Life echoes back whatever you put out. So if you want to change the echo, change the energy you're projecting. Most people don't need more help, they need more hunger. And hunger comes when you realize that no one's coming to do it for you. You can have mentors, teachers, and support, but even they can't make you show up, do the work, and stay consistent. That's your job. You're the manager of your own mind. You are the CEO of your own life. And just like a business, if you mismanage yourself, you'll go bankrupt, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. But when you take responsibility, you start investing wisely in your habits, your thinking, your time. You start making decisions that your future self will thank you for. You move with purpose because you know who you are. You operate with faith, not fear. And that faith isn't blind. It's built on the truth that you were created with the ability to create, that God gave you vision, potential, and power. But he didn't give you permission to be passive. He gave you the freedom to choose. And every choice you make is a seed. Every day you're planting seeds, seeds of responsibility or seeds of blame, seeds of action or seeds of excuse, seeds of growth or seeds of stagnation. The harvest doesn't lie. It tells the truth about what you've been planting. And if you don't like what you see, the answer is not to complain. The answer is to plant different seeds. Personal responsibility is not a motivational phrase. It's a spiritual principle. It's the foundation of all transformation. It's how you reclaim your power, refocus your energy, and rewire your mind for success. Because once you realize that no one's coming to save you, you finally understand that you've had the power to save yourself all along. Self-reliance is not about isolation. It's not about doing everything alone, nor is it a denial of community or collaboration. Self-reliance is about developing the inner strength, discipline, and mindset to take initiative without waiting on external motivation or permission. It's the foundation of true success. In fact, the very people who seem to have it all, the wealth, the impact, the influence, they didn't get there because someone carried them. They got there because at some point they made a decision to carry themselves, and that decision transformed everything. One of the most dangerous lies society teaches is that someone else is supposed to come and make things better for you, that your breakthrough is dependent on your environment changing or on someone finally noticing your value. But the truth is, success is not given, it is built. And it's built by those who stop waiting for ideal conditions and start creating results with what they already have. That's the essence of self-reliance. It's saying, what I have may not be enough, but I'm going to work it like it is. Because excellence isn't about excess, it's about execution. The problem is people confuse dependence with support. There's nothing wrong with seeking support. But when your success becomes dependent on it, you've surrendered your personal authority. Myron Golden teaches that wealth creation, whether in business, faith, or family, starts with mindset. And a wealth mindset is a self-reliant mindset. It understands that no one owes you success. that no one is responsible for fulfilling your destiny except you. You are not entitled to outcomes. You are responsible for action. That shift in thinking is what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. Self-reliance produces character. It forces you to become resourceful because you no longer have the luxury of blaming others. When you truly internalize that no one is coming to save you, you stop looking for shortcuts and start searching within. You start reading, learning, applying, adjusting, not because someone told you to, but because you're committed to your own evolution. That level of personal commitment creates momentum, and momentum compounds. Most people wait for inspiration to move. They wait for a sign, a feeling, or an outside push. But the truly self-reliant don't wait for energy. They generate it. They build their life the same way a craftsman builds a house, brick by brick, day by day. They don't chase motivation. They rely on mission. Motivation is fleeting. Mission is foundational. And your mission won't be realized until you stop looking for help and start being the help first for yourself. There's a reason why people who grow up in adversity often develop more grit than those born into ease. It's not because they had better opportunities. It's because they were forced to become problem solvers. And problem solvers win. Life favors those who take initiative. God rewards stewardship, not stagnation. If you're waiting for your situation to change, you're already behind. Because change is not something you wait for. Change is something you initiate. There's a lie that says if it's meant to be, it'll happen. But the truth is, if it's meant to be, you've got to make it happen. That doesn't mean doing everything in your own strength. It means being faithful with what you've been given. It means cultivating your gifts, showing up with excellence, and refusing to play small just because no one's watching yet. That's what self-reliance looks like. It's working like you're already successful. It's investing like the harvest is guaranteed, because it is if you sow consistently. Self-reliance is not cold or prideful. It's mature. It says, I can ask for help, but I won't collapse if I don't get it. That kind of internal resilience makes you unshakable because you're not built on external applause. You're built on internal alignment. You know who you are, what you're about, and where you're going, even if no one else sees it yet. That's the posture of someone destined for greatness. They don't need a cheerleader. They are their own catalyst. The truth is, no one is going to do it for you. And if someone does, you'll never have the confidence to sustain it. Why? Because confidence isn't built by having things handed to you. It's built by overcoming, by failing and trying again, by doing it scared, doing it unsure, and doing it anyway. That's how you build belief. And belief is what builds your life. You'll never discover your full potential if you're always being carried. Just like a muscle only grows under resistance, your character only develops through pressure. Self-reliance doesn't mean you won't experience fear, failure, or fatigue. It means you'll keep going anyway, because you understand that growth isn't always comfortable, but it is always worth it. You stop looking for ease and start pursuing excellence, because you know excellence is what attracts opportunities, wealth, and influence. Most people think wealth is a result of luck, but true wealth, wealth of spirit, of mind, and of resources, is a result of stewardship. And stewardship requires ownership. It requires you to take what you have, no matter how small, and work it until it multiplies. The person who multiplies a little is the person who can be trusted with more. That's not just business advice. That's a kingdom principle, and it starts with you, no one else. Self-reliance teaches you discipline. It teaches you to show up whether you feel like it or not, to honor your commitments even when your emotions try to negotiate. Discipline isn't restrictive, it's liberating. It's the path to power, and the more you practice it, the less you rely on fleeting feelings. You begin to operate from a place of clarity because you've trained yourself to act based on principle, not preference. In a world obsessed with convenience, self-reliance is rare, but rare is what builds legacy. Myron Golden often says, "Don't chase the bag, chase the calling." Your calling won't come gift-wrapped. It's revealed through obedience, through risk, through responsibility. Every breakthrough you want is hiding behind a wall of action you haven't taken yet. And until you take full ownership of your part, the door stays closed, not because it's locked, but because you haven't tried to open it. When you stop waiting for a handout and start building with your own hands, something radical happens. You begin to respect yourself. Your confidence grows, not because someone told you you're amazing, but because you saw what you were capable of. You proved it. And when you prove it to yourself, no one can take that away from you. Not rejection, not failure, not silence. Because your identity isn't built on who supports you, it's built on who you've become. That's what makes self-reliance so powerful. It doesn't isolate you, it activates you. It awakens the builder inside you, the creator, the producer, the leader. The one who doesn't just dream, but does. The one who doesn't just speak, but shows up and performs. And the world doesn't respond to your potential, it responds to your performance. When you move like it's already yours, the world begins to move with you. Doors open, connections happen, resources show up. Not because someone came to save you, but because you started saving yourself.